So let's just begin by connecting to the universe together. So we'll just let our arms float up to the sky. And what we're up to is allowing that universal love force, that energy that flows from the universe down through our fingertips right into our hearts. Just closing your eyes. And as you breathe in, just allow that energy to flow right down into your heart. And as you breathe out, drop it deeper in your body, into your belly, down into your feet, even just taking several, whatever's good for you, deep breaths. I open to the loving source of the great spirits, and I bring it into my body. And as your arms get tired, you can bring them to your heart. And breathing in the love and breathing the love down deep in your body. And then just there with your eyes closed and your hands on your heart, begin to build a heart field among the 9 of us. So we're just going to let the energy from our hearts flow out to each other and create a field for this group. And we'll hold Sarah in it the mornings that she's asleep, so that we are holding each other in our hearts and actually feel the sense of the electromagnetic fields of the earth moving our love to each other. It's actually happening if we make it so. You could just blink your eyes open and see each other, which sometimes helps, from our hearts to our eyes. So that love we're feeling goes from eye to eye, and just put your eyes on each person on the screen for a moment, just seeing each other. Yeah. Yeah, and then let's just reach out and hold hands for just a moment. So take our place in the circle together. Begin to feel a little tingling in your fingers as we energetically connect. Ah, thank you. And take a nice deep breath. As one of my wise meditation teachers says, well, if you can't feel that, it's okay. It's happening anyway. I love that. All right. Well, I think uh, that first thing we did is called Tan Chien, and it's a Qigong exercise, and it's something every person I ever work with learns. And it's an absolutely fabulous way to begin your day and to teach anybody you're working with as a way to begin their day, to start with allowing the love that is already there into your body. It's so easy to start the day with what is going to need to get done and what didn't get done yesterday, and all of that we all are so familiar with. So yeah. So the theme of today is awareness, and the theme of this month is awareness, and it's on the mandala, which we're going to learn about and learn how to navigate through, and how to help your parent, how to use it as a coach. But first, I would love us to go to the baseline of well-being. So I was laughing with a friend the other day because the I don't know, starting in 1989 or something, we started turning the wheel, actually before that, and we started talking about how important it was to appreciate each other and appreciate the folks that we were working with. And now everybody from the Dalai Lama to the, to the trauma therapists are saying the most valuable thing you can possibly do is appreciate yourself and self-love. That's the whole story, right? And that is a baseline for everything that we will keep doing over and over and over. We watch youth that we work with who have never been seen except by getting in trouble, turn into new energy fields just by appreciating them for 1 week residency, and at the end of the week, they're new. And so it is true, it is real. So let's go into, Abby's got it figured out. Check-in groups will just be there for 4 minutes, so we'll go into these breakout groups. But I forgot before we do that, Abby, you should have interrupted me. Abby wants to take you on. Well, let's check in and then we'll do it. So
Okay.
I'm assuming breakout groups are okay with everybody. So it's a little different now. Abs, we could actually do two. We could do twos, right?
Yes, we can.
Or,
Let's
or we
do
could do one,
that.
two, three, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Why don't we do twos to start tonight, and then
Okay.
we'll get into bigger groups. And all you're going to do is appreciate yourself. So that'll just need to be a couple minutes, and just tell this person something that you really appreciate about yourself. And then when we come back, we'll get names and introductions and find the notebook and things like that for you. Okay. But let's just get checked in a little bit. Does that feel all right to everybody? Yeah? Okay, great. So if something isn't all right, you're going to have to go like that, okay? Otherwise, I won't know, and it's totally fine. This is definitely a feedback loop that we're in. So let's stay together in the feedback loop. Keep it flowing, okay? All right, here we go.
All right.
Abby.
Hi.
Hi, Abby. It's so nice to meet you.
You too. Yeah. Would you like to start with checking in, or should I start?
I'm fine with it. Sounded like she just wanted us to say something that we appreciate about ourselves. Did I get that right? Or
Yeah, and then a check-in is really just like, how are you in this moment? How you're doing, and anything that you want to share.
okay. Well, so my name's Miko and I'm a little nervous. I don't really know
Mm.
why, but I am a little bit nervous. Um, and I feel really hopeful right now.
Mm.
Um, just got some news that isn't definitive, but was it just made actually my whole body just felt hopeful for the first time in
Mm.
about 2 months that, things may be shifting. And yeah, so I do. And I appreciate what I appreciate about myself, I think is what she mentioned is
Yep.
I I really like to find the good in people. I
Mm.
really try to gravitate toward that despite whatever their first appearances are or their first interactions in my life are, is that I try to find the good. And that's what gets me through.
Mm. So
How about
beautiful. Yes. Oh, so beautiful. Um, I have to say, I'm a little nervous too. I've been having a lot of technology problems today. I've had to restart my computer several times. So I'm just hoping and praying to the universe that my internet or something doesn't kick out while we're on the call together. Um, and otherwise, I'm really good, really excited that we're starting this course tonight. I've yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been promoting it and whatnot. So it's just been in my forethought a lot, and I'm just excited that it's here and it's starting, and that feels really good. And a self appreciation. Oh, what do I want to appreciate tonight? Um, I want to appreciate my problem solving attitude. I have been doing it all day, and it's just like one thing pops up and I'm like, "Okay, let's figure it out." So I'm just really appreciating my adaptability in everything that's happened today, and being able to flow through it.
awesome? I love
Yeah.
that. that flexibility of being able to recognize something and not let it take you down, but just help you to
Right.
shift into whatever needs to shift.
Oh,
That's wonderful.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you. And it's been a day full of those, so I've had lots of practice of
Yeah.
all the shifting.
It's definitely the season of shifting for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
it really is.
Which
New year, new time.
yeah, which is really exciting because, you might know Lizzie Judah. She's a good friend
Yes.
of mine, and she's the one that told me about this course, um, and I like, since the moment she sent me the link, I like, this feels right. This feels like I'm
Oh.
supposed to do this. So I'm really, really just looking forward to just whatever, like, I'm totally open to whatever the universe has to manifest for
Oh,
me.
I
And
love that. Oh, and I'm so excited that you joined. I think you'll really love this course.
oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and here we go. I'm closing the rooms now. So I'll see you back in the main room.
Sounds good. Bye.
All right, thank you.
It's so good to see you again, Miko.
Oh, I'm
Felt really,
looking forward to this. Mm.
I just felt so connected that day we talked. So feels like, oh, a friend. It's amazing, isn't it?
It
How
is
certain
absolutely.
connections are so easy. This is Suzanne Miko, who's on the screen, who has been a part of Turning the Wheel since day one. So that's kind of fun for you all to get to know each other. All right, how'd that go? Did everybody get themselves appreciated? Yeah. I love that, Sabrina. Yeah, we do have a reluctance to appreciate ourselves, but we have an even bigger reluctance to appreciate the parts of ourselves that we don't love. So we were just at some of us at a beautiful reading of a new book coming out by a woman named Vicky Dodd, who is an incredible sound healer shamaness who happens to be in Boulder right now recording an audible recording of her new book. And her new book is just over the top. It's amazing. And so we're going to play a little bit today with what she talked about was singing a song of love to your shadow. So
Mm.
we'll have some fun with that today. But first, Abby, would you like to get everybody kind of checked in around technical stuff for us? Abby will be managing everything for us. So if you have your computer's not working, you can get to her. If you're not getting recordings, if you're having any kinds of um, stress around financial payments, whatever, Abby's the one who makes it all flow for us. So thank you, Abby, for
Yeah,
sure.
thank you. Yeah, I would just love to kind of go all through the tech things with you and just show you the member page and the notebook and just go over a couple things. So I'm going to screen share. Here we go. I think there we go. All right, so this is your member page. And we'll come back to the forum, but down here you'll always find the Zoom link, and the Zoom link will be the same for every class, so it won't change.
Hey,
I will
Abby,
also continue. Yeah,
did you send the link to that page yet?
yes.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy to send it out again. It is a private page, so you can't just find it if you go to turningthewheel.org. You do need to have the link to get to the page. So I'll send that out again tonight so that you have that. Yeah, and if we come
But
down a little bit,
it will always be here.
yeah,
And and tell them how we get to here?
yes, that link I'll send out again tonight in an email. It
Oh,
is
that's what Suzanne was asking.
yeah,
Sorry.
no problem. It is turningthewheel.org/CBC member page. But I'll send that out to you so you don't have to remember all that. Yeah, so down here there's a detailed schedule on every time zone, just in case you're curious about dates. And then this section, this will be where all the recordings will be posted. And I will make sure that those are posted the day after every session. And I will also send out an email letting you know when it's ready, and link you to this page so that you can view it. We also have our notebook right here. And in our notebook, we have our index, and I've broke it down by month so you can see what we're doing for each month. And I wanted to show you something in particular. I'm just going to scroll down to it. For each month, we do have this section right here that will have journal questions and different exercises. It will also have, if we come down a little bit more, a vision card. So some fine art that you can make. And these journal questions, these exercises, the vision card, they're all just great ways to integrate the work that we're doing together. And there's one for each month and module, so you'll be able to see those. Yeah, and I think that's all I wanted to show you about the notebook. So let me get off here.
So
Um,
Abby, I
yeah.
looked down just where when you pointed out where the notebook was. Could you just show that again, please?
Yes, absolutely. Get this back up. So if you come to our member page and come down to the last section, this resource section, and you just click on this circle right here, and it'll open it right up.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you just have to kind of keep scrolling, don't you, Abs?
Yeah. And as y'all know, we've been talking about the recordings, but I did want to put it out there that with the recordings, if you are in my breakout room, that is the breakout room that will be recorded. If you don't particularly want to be in a breakout room and be recorded, that's totally fine. Just let me know. I can also edit stuff out. And yeah, just whatever you need, just please let me know. And I'm happy to do any of that. And let's see. Yeah.
Well, I'm loving that you're saying that, Abby, because what's happening in the breakout rooms is you'll be practicing the tools, sort of coaching each other and doing your own work around the tools. And it's particularly important that breakout room, that one of them is recorded so that Sarah won't have to get up at 4 a.m. and she can be a part of the group in a sense by seeing you all processing. You know, it gives her a chance to see the interactive part and then she could do that with somebody in her environment. So it's a gift to Sarah, basically. I imagine very few of you will go back to the recordings, but it really will make it enrich the depth of the experience for people who, there's another person who's anonymous who is going to be watching recordings, if you can believe that, a person who has other challenges. So yeah, it's a gift. It's a tremendous gift if you're willing to just go ahead and be transparent, you know, be vulnerable, let somebody else see how you move through your process. So, and it's not like we're going to be doing anything that, I mean, this group has all done plenty of processing. So it's not like you're going to be starting at square one for you all. So anyway, yeah. But do let Abby know. The other thing Abby can do, what she mentioned, but if somebody says, whoa, I had no idea I was going to reveal that, could you please take that out of the recording? I don't want my husband's story to be revealed without his permission or whatever. And Abby would take that story out. So you have some definite empowerment around all of that, okay? Does that feel okay to everybody? Questions, worries? Okay, go ahead, Abs.
And the other part is these recordings are just for this group. So it's not going out to anybody else. They will be on YouTube, but it's all private YouTube, so they can't be seen by anybody else. So it's everyone in this group will only have access to those recordings. Yeah, and then the next part, so we will meet twice a month on Tuesday evenings. And then the other part of this course is the the two 30-minute practice sessions each month. And our idea behind these was that you could take something from the first class of the month and go with another group member and practice that for 30 minutes. And these 30 minutes sessions you can schedule on your own time with a group member. And then something from the second class of the month, and that be your second practice session. And yeah, so these can be scheduled at your convenience. They some different options in terms of like, once you're done your practice session is we will have a forum, which I will show you. You'll be able to access your forum right here on your member page. You will need to make a login for this forum, as it is a private forum. But once you're in the forum, you can create posts, you can share, give ideas. And if you wanted to, after one of your practice sessions, if you wanted to post on the forum and just say, hey, I had a practice session and this was one of my highlights, or this is one of the things that came up for me, that's totally an option for you.
Also, questions that you want answered, Abby will be checking it. Worries, anything like that.
And if you have any problems getting into the forum, please just let me know. I'll be so happy to help get you in there. Any questions about the forum before I take it down? All right. And then let's see.
Watching Sabrina. Sabrina keeps answering. No, she says. Yes, she says. It's like, okay, thank you,
So
Sabrina.
wonderful.
I know. I had to unmute. On the practice session, is it a 30-minute total or 30-minute per person? Or I was thinking if the practice session is one person is sort of functioning as the coach and the other person is being coached, is that how you're visualizing them? Or anyway, that was my question.
Yeah, so last time we met on Tuesday and then we met on Thursday for practice sessions together. And that made it harder for people because they had to have 2 nights in 1 week that they had set aside. And so we decided this time to have you all be able to set up your own time. And Sarah asked, does it have to be with somebody in the group? And the answer is no, it doesn't have to be. You could get more interesting feedback if it's somebody in the group, because they'll know, if you want feedback from the person you're coaching. But with it being that you set it up, you might even be able to set it up with somebody, Sarah, in the group on your time. But either way, the idea is you say, okay, I'm going to see if some friend or somebody on the group has an issue they would like some coaching around. And then I'm going to choose this tool. And so it's set up saying, just like if you were doing massage therapy, you'd say, I need to do 8 sessions with somebody who's willing to be an intern. Will you be an intern with me? And then you can leave time at the end to say, how was that for you? And do you have any feedback for me if you feel brave enough to do that? So last time it was pretty amazing. And you'll see, I think, once you weighed in, how easy it turned out to be. This is one that people are going, I don't think I can do this, and then it's like, oh, that was not a very big deal. I listened, I witnessed well, I used a tool, I sent love to that person. You're all doing it all the time in your lives already. And so it's just integrating the tools into who you already are, a new tool to put in your basket of loving kindness that you bring all the time to everybody around you. I know every one of you enough to know that is true. So it doesn't, I like it not to get big. I like it to stay in flow. We'll just give this a try, see what happens. It's all about, how does this work for me? And so you might take a tool that we worked on together here, and you might adapt it, modify it, roll it into something else you learned over here, and now it's a new tool. And you might share that on the forum. Well, I added this to this and it worked beautifully, right? Because all of this is in motion. Everything, if we're in the body, if we're in flow, if we are liquefied, as Vicky would say, if we are fluid, it's changing. So anything that we learn, if it's fluid, if it's flowing, it integrates and it becomes yours. And I really encourage that. And we'll talk in a minute about where the ground is of that for this particular coaching, which I think will help make things clearer. But Abby, is there anything else?
I was just
Yeah,
going to
just
say,
the
I was going to say it would be great to get everybody's contact info so we could contact each other for those sessions.
Does everybody feel cool with
I think
that?
we're okay with that, yeah.
Sabrina?
So I believe Holly was asking if we are doing it with another member in the group, do we each do it for 30 minutes to each other?
You could do that. I think that's a great idea. You don't have to. So Holly could coach you for 30 minutes and you could coach Lori for 30 minutes. You don't have to go exchange, but it could be fun to do that. You could to just go back and forth and say, okay, your turn. What's your issue today?
So was your question about, is it a shared 30 minutes or is it 30 minutes for each person, right?
Right, it's 30 minutes for each person if you both do it. Yeah, and then you would both have done your practice session for that time. But sometimes an hour is hard to get and 30 minutes isn't so bad. I'm just aware that we're a busy group of people. This is not a group of people with nothing going on in their lives. So yeah, so great clarification, Sabrina, thank you. It could be really nice to go just contact somebody and go back and forth and see how that went for each of you to coach each other. But it could be that you want to connect with two people. So you want to get Holly to coach you and you want to see if, Miko would like to be coached by you. So you would get to know her better. So I just don't be shy about seeing what people are up for and willing to do, because everybody here is here because they want to up-level some consciousness skill story, right? So I think these are such good questions. Thank you. We haven't done it this way before, so you'll have to give us feedback on whether you would prefer if we hold the container and everybody do it together online. We're just trying to free up the energy space for folks. Yeah, good questions. Other things, Abby, or other questions?
Yeah, the only other thing I had was just that at the start of each Tuesday session, we'll just check in as a group about these practice sessions, just in case questions come up or anyone needs support. So we'll check in together as a group about those.
Great. All right, everybody okay? Okay. So let's get names, and you can say what city you live in, and you can say, I could say Elena Boulder. Yes. That would be me, my signature word, right? And I'll make a sound and then you do it with me. So we go, Elena Boulder, yes. And then we'll do it together, okay? Whoa, I just dropped my AirPod out. That was very, very, okay, sorry. All right, so let's do that all together once more, and that'll get us going, and then we'll go to the next person. So, Elena Boulder, yes. Okay, who would like to go next? Just go ahead, unmute or raise your hand or whatever you want.
Sabrina, Montana.
Sabrina,
Montana.
All right, thank you.
Suzanne. Boulder.
Suzanne.
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 Boulder.
Boulder. All right. Beautiful.
Abby Arvada.
Abby
Arvada.
Nada. Sure.
I'll go. Laurie.
Boulder.
Lori.
Lori.
Boulder. Was there something after Boulder that we missed?
I can't remember what it was.
All right. Perry, did you raise your hand?
No, but I'll go. Perry,
Barry.
Wilmington,
Perry.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Perry.
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 Wilmington.
Wilmington,
North Carolina.
Carolina.
Holly.
Ooh.
Boulder.
Holly.
Holly.
Do it with us, Holly. Then we'll copy
Boulder.
it further.
Boulder.
Sarah. Sorry. Dubai.
Bye.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Dubai.
Dubai.
Miko. Missoula, Montana.
Miko.
Miko.
Missoula,
Missoula,
Montana.
Montana.
All right. Sabrina and Miko, I think you might be in very close to each other, right?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, you guys can get together and do in-person coaching.
That's great.
It'd be really, really, really best. Oh, that'd be fabulous. All right. Did everybody get checked in or did I miss somebody? Oh, there's such, I can't believe I could miss anybody with just 9 of us, but you can, you know? All right. Well, so I just, all the time that we're saying this is about pulling this into your own story, I want to, enhance that with what we are. The reason we're here is because we share a commitment to consciousness, and that is enormously huge. It makes me tearful. It's very, every time a group gathers in consciousness, we are starting the healing process for a whole nother layer of the earth. And we want to find that heart-centered, that inclusive way to live on the earth that is unconditionally loving and grounded in the impulse of the good of all, period, the end, right? That is our commitment. And if somebody didn't have that commitment, I couldn't say, well, take that tool and use it in what you're already doing, right? Because any tool, any idea, any concept, any way of functioning can be used all different ways, and sometimes it can be used in ways that aren't so good. So just to know that my deep faith in this group is already grounded profoundly just from this few minutes we've been together. And so this will be an ongoing exploration for all of us to keep wondering into, what are we contributing to the story of evolving ourselves? Because that's what creates the external evolution. Again, I'm sure that I'm preaching to the choir here. And to evolving those who walk the path beside us. And that's the big issue on the table at this time, the collective, right? Am I willing to have the courage to stand strongly in the truth of the good of all, and not to turn away from things I see that do harm and not to bring harm, right? So I just recently had somebody say something that had a very scary undertone to it, in terms of ism. And I felt immediately was able to say, and this might be really new for me, just to be totally honest, to say, I'm really feeling that in my body. That feels really uncomfortable. I'm feeling a little bit sick to my stomach. I'm really interested. I can feel how uncomfortable that is for me. And that's all I said. You know, it wasn't like making them wrong or bad or blaming them, but I felt like I had stepped right through a portal. That instead of just letting that go and saying that's their soul's journey, this is my soul's journey, which can be a valid response in certain situations, obviously. So I'm calling myself and calling us all to that level of consciousness. What are we contributing to the magnetic fields of the earth? And how can we in this group manifest our genius together so that we actually create over the next 6 months a much, much bigger impact than one would expect from 9 sweet little loving, beautiful, conscious folks, right? We're big, we're very big, and we're very powerful. And coming in love is very, very big. So that is one piece that I like to at least put my assumptions on the table. And underlying that is that the belief that it is the body awareness that is the key to sustainable change. So those of you who've read my book or know anything about me know that I came from a severely violent, severely dysfunctional family beyond anything anybody would even care to hear about. And I know you can walk out of that story. I know you can walk out of that with body healing. But I spent years and years and years in therapy before I got to people who knew how to take all those insights, all that knowing I had, all that understanding I had, even forgiveness in some places, you know, and get it into my body. So the numbness that comes with trauma wounding could begin to liquefy, and my body could begin to flow, and I could show up on the earth more and more and more as my authentic self. And obviously, that's a lifelong journey. I'll be 76 in April, and I'm absolutely taking steps towards that every day of my life. So it's not like now I'm done, I can just, be cooked. Which is good, which is exciting. There's always another step to take, and Turning the Wheel began 35 years ago as a response to wanting something different to be going on in the earth, wanting a different way of changing, loving, growing, sustaining, based in the arts, based in the body, based in creative expression, based in what it means to let the power of our creative souls manifest. And over those 35 years, we have developed a rather huge body of work. So we'll dip into all of this we can in 6 months, and forever. Once you're a certified coach, you will have access to me and to all the other certified coaches to keep gathering more things for your basket. We are an ongoing community. So yeah, we'll play a lot with, my second book subtitle is Birthing the Yes Collective. So everything is about yes and yes and there's a lot of attention being given to no right now. So I feel even more strongly about learning all different ways to guide our clients towards yes. And that can mean yes towards the parts of me that I do not like or want to be a part of me at all. The way that begins to heal is by flowing love to it, by saying yes to it and learning about it, incorporating it, talking to it, dialoguing with it, finding out what its needs are, integrating it. And I have watched so many clients over the years create whole new lives simply by loving something in themselves that was frozen, that they inherited from their ancestors. It was not theirs ever. And once it moves, once it liquefies, once it's flowing, they are home free. So it doesn't have to be as hard sometimes as we think it is. Though I have to say, I think I was probably 60 before I began to feel that liquefying. So I would prefer that people don't spend most of their lives reaching for their fluids. So definitely driven to get us as fluid as we can. All right. Does anybody, I mean, basically, what I'm inviting you to be is truly an unstoppable force of love on the earth. Literally unstoppable force of love. No matter what is going on, no matter what anybody is saying, the response is love. And so we will bring that self-love and appreciation to the table as coaches, and then offer a beautiful combination of language and movement and sound and breathing and creative expression and all kinds of ancestor work and collective work and meditation and breathing, and all those tools are all held in self-love and appreciation. That's the beautiful yes container that we'll be playing in as we become clearer and clearer vessels ourselves, right? So yeah, any questions? Oh, thank you, Sabrina. Oh my goodness. So that's what I mean about, it really brings tears to my eyes. That's what I mean about appearing, about who's here already. We have so much power that it's vibrating in my body. The appreciation Sabrina just innately, intuitively, instinctively gave, you know, not competing, not comparative mind, not criticizing, not wondering if it could have been said differently. All those things that we feel and do, you know. Immediately she was just pouring her heart right back to me. So I received that love, Sabrina. Thank you very much. And I know that we can do this for each other over the next 6 months. So as usual, the universe knew best. Dang, that's hard to remember sometimes. All right, here we go. And just in terms of who's supposed to be here today. Okay, so here we go. Whew. Turn the heater off. It's been very, very cold here. All right, so Abby, let's put the mandala up. And this is we're going to wade right into our basic tool, and it's a lot. It's a huge piece of information. It's very simple and it's very complex. So just roll with it, play with it, see how it comes out for you, and keep asking questions. So one of the things we want to do as a coach is we want to be incredibly compassionate listeners. We want to be really listening. And in your notebook, I think Abby knows where, I think it's like pages 8 and 9 or something. Is it, Abby?
Yes, page 8 and 9.
There's a conscious listening page to take a quick look at. And you don't have to do that this minute, but you could make a note if you like, because are you listening? As I was pointing out with what Sabrina, and I'm sure that was true of all of you, I felt the energy of listening and consciousness and alertness from everybody on the screen. So thank you. So are we listening to rebut? Are we listening to correct? Are we listening to see what we're going to say? Are we listening to be right? Are we listening to see if we can one up? Are we listening to correct, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Probably not with this group, but it never hurts to take a look at what happens is I sit down with a client, I am listening to understand, to open my heart and to feel their vulnerability and see what it is they have to teach me, not what do I have to teach them. So part of that listening process is I'm looking to see if I can find where they are on what we call our mandala. So this is the process that you actually go through in your brain probably 50 to 1,000 times a day without knowing it, maybe several thousand. It grew out of watching how people process. So we discover something, we wake up to something, we have a moment of being present, and we go, wow, oh my goodness, I just said something I'm not feeling great about saying. And then we go to embracing. It's like, I wonder what that's about. Why did I respond that way? I wonder what needs loving. No, that's the third step. Sorry, I go there quickly. It's like, what is the story underneath that? That sounds like I'm defended. That sounds like I'm scared. That sounds like I'm needing somebody to see me. I'm feeling invisible. It will be, as you see on the diagram, it will be an old story out there that belongs to somebody else. It belongs to your caretakers, to your grandmother, to your great-grandmother, your great-grandfather. It belongs to the culture. It belongs to the church you went to, the teacher you had. It does not belong to you. And once you uncover that, the next step is, wow, how much can I love that person in me that just said that? This is singing a love song to your shadow, right? So I just said something I don't feel good about. Now I get to dial. I know I have the awareness. I know I said it. I know why I said. I know where it was coming from. Now I can turn to that and say, all right, let's see, what is it in me that needs loving? It is likely very often an inner landscape character that's pretty young. So it might be a little one, a really little one that just needs to be picked up and held and rocked and sung to. But it might be an adolescent who was, in my case, beaten a lot and made wrong a lot. And so she might be getting up. No, I'm right. She might want to defend. And so then I can say to her, it's fine. You get to feel that way. Of course you want to defend. Let's talk about how safe we are right now. And I have a dialogue with that beautiful inner child, and we work some stuff out together. So we figure it out. It's like, okay, so this is what triggered you, and that has to do with what your father said, and your father, he's not here, and I am the queen of my own queendom. I am here for you. I will keep you safe. I love you. You are safe. And I begin to liquefy that wound. And so I am grateful that I said something that was not what I would have wanted to say were I the most evolved, perfect person on the planet. I'm grateful because it revealed to me a wound that needs to be embraced, explored, and then loved. And out of that will come a really easy action step. If I literally do fall in love with that part of me, that my problem, which is part of why I took more abuse than my little sisters, because I could not keep my mouth shut. And that's still true. I still can't keep my mouth shut. That hasn't changed. But I've learned how to do it more skillfully. And so that's a pretty exciting thing to me, that if I love that adolescent, then she knows what to do. One action could be just that the two of us went and laid on the earth together symbolically. That could be an action step. An action step could be that she says through me to the person, I don't think that's how I wanted to respond. Could I have a redo on that? Another action step could be that she says, so we go get a snack because I'm hungry, and she knows when I'm hungry. Another action step could be that I ask her, what could be her role in my inner landscape? And we work out a plan where she will warn me when somebody's coming at me in a way that's not what I'm going to like, because she knows way before I do. And then I can take a deep breath, step back, and not respond in a way that I don't want to respond. So I realize that is a lot of data all of a sudden, but it's just every time you turn around, if you watch, you'll see that you figure something out. You go, okay, I know what that's about. And then we often jump to solution. We jump to acting. And the step that we miss in our culture is loving. And even as I work with people and with myself, I'll still, even if I'm saying to Suzanne, what needs loving there, inside she may be going, I'm not going there with you. I'm not loving this. This is not something that I'm willing to love. And that's okay too. That is gets as much respect in people we're working with and in ourselves as the person who jumps right in and gets it instantly, because we want to respect the rhythm, the flow, the growth, the health of each person. And it doesn't help to force people into awareness, into embracing, into loving, or into acting, right? We all know this, but it's easy to subtly, sort of insidiously try to move your clients around this spiral. You'll see them right there at embracing, and you know they need to go to loving. And you make the suggestion and you get a no in their body language or in their words or in their breath or in their tears. And you follow that, right? You follow that right into their body. Where is that in your body? Where are you feeling that in your body? What is your body wanting around that, right? It's like staying with their process. Sometimes deciding to keep a wound frozen is really healthy until we're ready to liquefy it. And every single one of us has frozen spots that we're not quite ready to liquefy. And that's okay. We want to let our clients be in charge of their timeline. So before we go any further, I just want to see if you'd like to ask questions about this. Then we can leave well, you've got the diagram in a notebook. Do all of you know how to get to your notebook and stay on Zoom? Because that might be helpful. No, Sabrina says. I'm looking at Abby. She's checking it out there.
Make it smaller, I guess.
Yeah, you could do like a kind of a double window thing happening. I'm gonna put the link to the member page in the chat. That way y'all can access the notebook.
Just because I'd like you to be able to see the mandala. I mean, it has a spiral around the outside, which is, if you want, you can just bypass all of the language and cognitive and self-blame and other blame and just spiral right into your body, start breathing and moving and skip it all, right? It's so great. You can just spiral right in there and all of a sudden you're back home. And once you get back in your body, you don't have any energy for anybody else's story or for your critic, for your inner critic. When your inner critic is up, you're out of your body. So the goal of the mandala is to get back home again, get back into your body. So are there questions about it? The reason I was asking if you would like to be able to find it in the member page and put it on a split screen is we're going to go into small groups and work with this. And so you might want to be able to see it while you're working with it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that then, because you can't screen share from the breakout groups, it turns out. There's all these Zoom things, you know, they're odd. Or not odd. I mean, Zoom is a small miracle on the earth. Here we are with Sarah from Dubai on a phone call, on a call with us. I mean, to me, at my age, Sarah, that is just, it's totally magic. You know, it's hard for me to believe. I mean, I just want to have tea with you. I want you to come over tomorrow and let's take a walk. You know, it's like, well, she lives in Dubai, you know? So anyway, so what I would love you to do is, you could take any issue. I realized that I didn't eat breakfast this morning. And so something simple, right? Doesn't have to be your deepest, darkest journey. And then I go, what is that about? Well, I got into my I have to serve others head. So I'm mining this now. I'm embracing it. I couldn't take time for myself because this happened and that happened and my daughter this and so that's an old story, but I'm not showing up in my own life. I'm only showing up in service, right? And then I talk to that part of me, and I love that part of me because that's the part of me that serves 5,000 kids a year. That's the part of me that runs a nonprofit. That's the part of me that falls in love with all of you. That's the part of me that raised my children. That's a good part of me, right? And it has a shadow, and its shadow is that I can end up disappearing and not taking care of myself. And so I ask that part of me to help me. I say, you know about service. Can you help me serve me? Can you bring some of that love that we give out? Can you help me bring it to me so that I don't do this to my adrenal glands, right? And then once we've made that agreement and we've had a little love affair, then I go to action, and it's pretty obvious then. I mean, I go get some food. So it's a pretty simple circle, right? But it could be also that I make something special to honor me, or that I put a note on my kitchen sink that says breakfast for you, so that I remember next morning to make breakfast. That could be an action step. It could be that I call Suzanne and say, would you give me a buzz at 9:30 and ask me if I ate this morning? I mean, I could do any number of things to step into honoring me, because that's the message I got, right? Or I could have gone, oh, Elena, you didn't eat breakfast again. That's what you are, doing self-punishment again, and you're never going to learn this, and you just have to disappear yourself. If you're not invisible, you don't know who you are. I could just beat myself up, right? And it doesn't help. I don't go get something to eat then at all. I just continue to stay hungry. So it's like letting it roll, letting it flow, letting it flow. And if it's flowing, it'll keep going, and you will even innately do that loving step. But if you've got an issue, you will tend to go for solution. Find the solution to the issue, right? So this happened the other day with my daughter, where I went right to, well, I think we need to get this person and call this person and do this person. And she just kept coming back to crying and feeling sad. And I finally realized that we hadn't loved her. We hadn't loved the pain she was in. We hadn't loved her fear. We hadn't allowed her to be where she was. Now, I won't do that when I'm coaching, right? Because I'm in my coaching head. But in my mother head, I went right for solution, fast as I could go. And once we softened the whole story, she came up with her own solution, which was very different than anything I had been suggesting at all, right? Which is always the case, nearly always the case. All right, enough talking. I'm just watching, are people asleep yet? No, not yet. Okay, good. So what I would love you to do is, Abby's going to put us in groups. So how do we want to do this now, Abby? Since
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing. We could do 3 groups of 3 with you and I in.
All right. Does that sound to everybody? The idea is one, or like I won't, Abby won't, Suzanne and Perry are here as facilitators for you all. So you might not do an issue, or if the group needs you to do an issue for an example, then you would do an issue. So it'll kind of be up to you. But yeah, I think if Abby and Perry and Suzanne are in different groups, then you'll be all set. So the truth is that Lori and Holly are also major, been in this work a long time, and certified body coaches already, here running the whole story through again with their beautiful beings. So there's lots of people who can help with this, is all I'm saying. So let's let the folks who maybe haven't done this have a chance first. And then, so we'll spend 30 minutes in these groups, which means, they can have a nice long time to practice. Okay, here's an issue I'm dealing with, and taking it around the mandala. And your committee there, they are there to help you. They're there to, if you get stuck or you don't quite know what to do with it, or you jump to solution, or whatever they might say, are you ready for solution? So as a committee member, appreciative inquiry is where you want to be. So if I'm going on about how, well, yeah, I didn't eat breakfast, but there simply wasn't time, then I'm hoping that somebody would say to me, wow, time, that's an interesting thing. Tell me more about time. Tell me more about how time feels to you. And open me up to time. And then I can stop going and go, time. Oh yeah, me and time. This is a long time story. So they'll drop me in. Does that make sense to everybody? So all I'm saying is, not that I need to with this group, but gentle, gentle, gentle. Mostly we want to guide whoever's going around the mandala to doing it doing it their way with loving witness, to see if you can move one of your issues around that mandala and how that feels, right? And then when you're working with clients, you're going, ooh, I see they're right there. They're stuck at embracing. They went to uncovering and then they jumped into self-hatred right there. So now I know where they are on the mandala. I have a whole set of questions that are in your notebook that I can ask to help them move to the next step, to move off that stuck place. Okay? Everybody, you ready to give it a try? And there isn't any right or wrong way to do any of it. Just really enjoy it. And I promise to be as low profile as I possibly can. We try not to put me in a group so you all can have the sense of total freedom. Yes, Perry?
I was just wondering if we should do a quick bio.
Perry also, right? What was that?
Quick bio break.
Oh, sure. So thank you for guiding that. Absolutely. Any time you need to get anything to eat or drink or take care of yourself, you will just do that in this course, but I will forget about breaks. So thank you, Perry. What time is it? 5:05? Wow. What time did we start? 5. Okay. So I'm not horrible yet. Usually I go an hour and a half before I wake up. Okay, let's take a 10-minute break till 6:15. Grab a snack, go pee, take a little nap, Sarah, and we'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Okay, thank you, Perry. Here we go. Put us in our group. 6:45, we'll come back. Or whatever the 30 minutes is, Abs.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, our little group.
We made it.
We made it. Woo.
We teletransported to yet another location.
Yeah. So Sarah, is there anything coming up for you around this? Or I wanted to ask you if you had anything you wanted to work on with it.
I'm not sure.
That's totally fine. I'm happy to go, or if you have something you want to go through.
I am completely open.
All right.
Let's do yours, and then if there's time, I'll do one, and maybe Sarah has one figured out by then.
All right. And it's funny because I realized what I'm about to tell you, I also did. We had a free training a few weeks ago, and we did this exercise, and I used the same example, but it happened to be again today, so I had to do it all again today. And that is, earlier in the day, I had this moment of like, just pure panic. My Zoom kept quitting, my internet kept going out, my computer was frozen. And I was like, why of all days does today have to be the day I have all the technology problems? I was like stressing about this call tonight. I was like, what if I don't have internet for it? I'm the host. I need to open the call, and just worrying about my technology not going smooth for me today. And, so that definitely was kind of like my awakening, was having that moment of like, what do I do? Kind of panic. For embracing, I really just settled down and tried to love that part of myself that wants everything to be perfect. Because really the core of it is I'm a perfectionist and I want everything to go as planned. And so just really loving that part of me who wants it to all just go the way it's supposed to go. Yeah, and really also loving the part of me that was panicking and saying it's okay to have this panic moment, and reminding myself I'm only human, and I don't have control over everything, even though I wish I did. I don't have control over the internet or whatnot. And for me, the acting part, the big releasing was just finally getting to the place that it is out of my control. And I can only do what I know, right? So I restarted my router, I restarted my computer, I did all the tech things I know to do to help to fix all of that. And really just kind of saying a prayer to the universe and reminding myself that the universe is on my side and the universe will help me. And if for whatever reason my internet does crash out in the middle of this call, it's not the end of the world. I'll get it back up and running and it would be okay. So yeah, that was kind of my spiral today.
Let's see. So this is the time of year when I kind of gather up all of my gigs. I'm a musician, and although gigs are not how I make my living, they are how I present myself to the public through my art. And they're also something that I enjoy doing, just because the more I'm gigging, the more I'm learning as a musician. And so it's also for me that growth part. And then of course the other part is, the black and white part of being a performer is, are they going to like me? Am I not getting calls right now because they've decided I'm just not it anymore? And of course, like also as I'm aging, I'm noticing that people are reacting to me in that different way. That happens when you start getting gray hair, and I've got a slight waddle now. So it's just really interesting. It's like, people just literally look at you differently and treat you differently. So what I was going through today, it was an internal battle with, let me continue down my list of contacting people to find out how to get into their calendar this year. And then also, I might as well just give it up. I think I'm washed out, I'm nobody really wants the old guy anymore. Back to, okay, let's just get some dates on the calendar. And then back to, I just kept flip-flopping back and forth. So what I discovered through all of that is that I really care about what it is that I do. the days of being nervous about playing have long since passed. When I approach a live show, I get excited. And so I get butterflies and all the energies and everything. But instead of it being a nervous thing, it's really like that adrenaline starts to pump because I know how much fun I'm going to have. And so by uncovering all that and realizing that it isn't about what other people think about anyway, it's really about how I need to approach it and look for that, the means to grow, the means to find that adrenaline, the means to, you know, present my art. So that moves me on down into like the empowering part. So if I'm standing in my truth about how I want to be as a performing artist, it has everything to do with how I approach it. Not only in the chasing part, you know, finding the gigs, but also in the presence of how I perform when I show up. And so I can really claim that as my basis for what I love. And then so what that does is that it just makes me send out another email and make another phone call. And so now I'm back into the acting part, you know, I'm back into making action steps and releasing that part about worrying about what other people are thinking about me, you know, because I could do that. I mean, I've been doing that since I can even remember. And in a lot of ways, and through parts of my life, it created pause when maybe there didn't need to be pause, you know. And so I'm kind of through with that, and I'm ready to let that go and just know what it is that I bring when I show up and make it happen.
Beautiful pair.
Yeah, thank you both for sharing. But you guys share it so fluently. I was going back and forth to my mandala, trying to pinpoint, right? And I'm not sure I can do the same just yet. I haven't really internalized the mandala and the parts of it. But maybe I can share something about now that I have to wake up my kids in half an hour. And for the past while, waking up my son has been a nightmare. He's 7 and he doesn't want to get up. And I feel the pain. It's early, it's still dark outside, but the bus comes at 6:35 and he needs to get up so he can do what he needs to do and grab a bite before we go down to the bus. So I've been finding myself acting in ways that I'm not very proud of. I'm feeling frustrated and I'm feeling angry and I just want him to get up. So I guess that's what's been happening. And maybe just yesterday I kind of had a light bulb moment when I realized I am doing this out of love. It's if I didn't care, then he would just skip the bus and not go to school, and you know. But I want to make sure that he gets there on time, and I guess I have a tendency to. I am kind of a perfectionist too, Abby, and I want things to be done on time for them. So I make sure that they eat and they sleep on time and they go to their activities, and just to make sure that everything's on track and they get to do what they can do. So maybe I'm not a monster of a mom and I do it out of love, but maybe I'm just going about it the wrong way because I forget in the moment that he's a tiny human and they have their own opinions and So I usually sit next to him and I try, you know, putting my hand on him and I try waking him up and saying, it's time to get up, it's time to get up. And that obviously doesn't work. So yesterday I decided that maybe I can do things differently. And I put on a song to kind of wake him up. And I saw him smile. And but he wouldn't open his eyes. And he was like, so 3 minutes later, the song's done. And I'm just trying to tap him again and say, it's time to get up. And he's like, is that your idea of waking me up? Because it's not working. I don't like it. So maybe just embracing the fact that I'm not doing it because I'm a bad person. I have good intentions, but I'm not going about it the right way. And I do have to take his opinion and his way of wanting to do things into consideration. And that kind of makes me soften up a bit and how I approach him and how I look at him in the moment. It's not just an agenda. It's not my agenda. It's like in coaching. I know how to do this in a coaching setting, but like Elena was saying, when it comes to, you know, mothering, you forget and you just want things done. What if they have their own agenda and they have their own solutions and their own way of doing things? So I need to love that part of me that wants to get things done and maybe tell it it's okay that it's taking me till now to realize I wasn't doing it the right way. And there are other ways of doing things. And for the acting part, maybe it's asking him if that didn't work for you, or you didn't think that was a good way of doing it, of waking you up, then what is a good way of waking you up? And taking his opinion into consideration and trying to act upon it. And then just evaluating. It doesn't have to work the first time. And see how we can tweak things up. I don't know if I touched upon all the parts of it and if I did it the right way.
You know, what's really lovely is that you'll notice that like the blue intersects with the orange and it intersects with the pink and the green intersects. So you can go in and out of each of these things constantly.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be kind of circular in that.
It doesn't have to be circular. We just happen to process it that way just out of like our practice.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, and the other piece, I'm so glad you said that, Pear, too, is that you might not start in awakening, right? You might start in acting or loving or embracing. It doesn't have to go in that specific order. It's just, it all intertwines.
Yeah, that's good to know. I think it would be, I find it hard to understand how someone can start the mandala from a loving place. Like usually in my mind, something's happening and then maybe that's how my mind works and how my body works. There is that discovery and awakening, and then I realize there's something deeper going on here.
Yeah. You are correct.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example of like starting at a different point.
Yeah.
But it's not quite coming to me yet.
Well,
no, it's okay.
I could have told my story of sending out the emails and trying to call people and text people and trying to get the dates, and that would be action steps.
Yeah.
Without having the embracing and the loving along with it, but just simply doing it, you know, and getting frustrated because I wasn't getting responses, you know, and I'm stuck in action.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. And I just happened to, well, you know, I think I actually did I actually did start my story out in acting, in the action circle because I was doing that. I was sending out the emails and I was frustrated I wasn't getting the responses. And then I went up to Awakening and, you know, so I kind of started over there.
Mm.
But then I did go in a circular motion after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I find it an interesting tool, but I just need to get my head around it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And you did a great job, by the way. I thought your example was great.
Thank you.
And I also just want to say I have 4 little ones in my life, and I totally relate to everything you're saying, especially about waking them up. I'm so with you.
Yeah.
And you said that he has to catch the bus at 6:35.
Yeah, it's so early. School starts at 8.
Wow.
And they're one of the first people to get picked up. So it takes them an hour to get to school.
Man.
Yeah. There's not much I can do about that.
Yeah.
It kills me, but they were in a closer school that closed down because of COVID, and they kind of merged with a bigger school that's a bit further away, so they need to get on the bus. So that's the issue.
Well, I'm spinning around that thing right now, just with the empathy that your son might, you know, for his frustration, because
Yeah.
I was a tough one to wake up to.
I was too. My mom used to pull my feet out of my bed, like straight drag me out of bed.
Yeah, I tried that too. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Have
But
you
it's out of frustration, you know, that we do
Yeah.
these things.
have you tried the frozen marbles yet?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
If you put cold marbles in the bed with them, they can't get away from them because they just, you know, they roll downhill. That's cruel though.
I think he would hate me for the rest of his life.
My dad used to come in banging on the door and flipping the lights on and off, screaming, "Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up."
Yeah. And I guess a part of it, part of my frustration is it reminds me of my dad trying to wake up my sister, and he would do the same, banging on the door, and like that never worked. So there's that accumulated, you know, frustration that was never processed, and it's getting triggered. But I'll find a way.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
I can say
Yeah,
that. What is that, Abby?
No, go ahead, Pear.
I was gonna say that, you know, like now for me, in terms of waking up, I usually wake up really early, but there are a lot of, like, especially approaching the full moon, I don't sleep at night. It's like some kind of weird internal clock thing turns on, and I think I'm supposed to be like out, you know, hunting the stag or something like that. And so, but when I know I have to get up, once I have enough cognition, I try to list out things that I'm excited about for the day. And that helps motivate me to go ahead and get up, you know, even if I've only had like 2 or 3 hours of sleep or something like that. And
it's not a bad idea.
So, you know, like it might even be like, I haven't done this yet, but you know, like making, like literally write a list of things down that before I go to bed about what I'm excited about the next day and have it there so that as soon as I wake up, I can look at the list and go, oh yeah, I'm doing that thing. Because
that works for him. For me, it's the other way around. If I know I have something in the morning and I don't sleep well, and then I start getting anxious in the middle of the night because I know I need to sleep, I need my sleep, and I'm not getting my sleep, and I need to wake up soon. So it creates anxiety for me. but it might work for him.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about one of mine, Briley. She was always so hard to wake up, and it's gotten better with time. And I'm not, and I was trying to think what the shift was, and I don't know. I'm almost curious. I should ask her if she felt the shift, but it's just like she got better at it at some. It just, yeah, over time got easier or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just the timing. Maybe if he had, just an extra half an hour to sleep, he would wake up easier.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that.
Yeah. Well, we just have a little bit of time left. Did you have any other questions or anything about the mandala?
Not really. I just need to understand, understand it better. The love thing, play and listen. These are these actions that you can take to kind of take yourself from one section to another?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, say that again. Like that as an action to go to the next one?
Yeah, is that what they're for?
Yeah, so they're kind of like what do I want to call them? Kind of like stepping stones, right? Each part. And then in the notebook, and I can tell you what page.
Yeah, I have it open.
Let's see. Where? Well, so in the notebook, page 2 and 3 has a little bit more of a breakdown for each of those for awakening, embracing, loving, and acting. And then there's also where is it? It's in the February section, but oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Yeah, no, I'm totally thinking of the wrong thing. But page 2 and 3 give a little more of a breakdown on each of those sections.
Yeah, I guess my question was, do these come up organically, or do we, ask questions and try to bring them out in a client session?
I see what you mean. Yeah, that's a great question. I would love to hear your thoughts, Pear. But my initial is both. Sometimes it'll just happen organically where the client's like, this is what happened, and then this happened, and oh, then I started, and it just happens. And then sometimes we do need to ask questions and help guide people to find those steps.
It's also, possible to introduce the spiral over a period of time, and also to, like, I don't know if you have your clients like keep a journal or a notebook or something like that, but they could have a copy of it with them so that they could process with it even when they're away, like when they find themselves, getting anxious or whatever happens to be happening. For me, it's usually like falling towards the depressive, like I kind of like go more into depression than I do most other heavy emotions. And when I find myself kind of falling into that trap, I can try to find out where I am on the mandala, or just start processing with it. Sometimes it literally is having a dance party, just to shake it. That's what the whole green section is in there. ultimately, like when I've been considering the mandala as a means to have a conversation with someone, like for instance, my wife, what I will do is not, like bring up, I don't exactly bring up the mandala as a tool and start talking about how we might use it or anything like that. What I kind of do is just say, well, tell me more about that, is to ask them to explore, right? What's deeper, what's really going on behind that, and if they haven't even figured out what it is that's causing the problem, they may be like I was, kind of stuck in the action steps, right? Well, I keep doing this and I'm not getting any results. Okay, well, you could keep doing it. But what, like, why are you doing it? Like, what is the outcome that you would like to see? And that's a prompt for them to go into awakening. You know what I mean?
That's why there's that old stories thing over the acting part, because
Exactly.
you can have old stories there too. Okay.
Yep. And that's what we do, is we tend to go into our old stories no matter where we are. And I think that the last time I heard the story, it was that something like 95% of our lives is lived from memories. Like we experience everything around us through memories. That's why we recognize things as what they are. And if your memories are causing you distress, then you're stuck in that old story, and that's where you spin. And so moving out of that old story is getting into the spiral. And it may only be like, somebody finally figures out that they know why they keep doing this pattern. So they get to awakening, and that's where you've gotten. And then it pauses, and then, but yeah, the suggestions can just be like, I mean, a really heavy, deep question would be like, like if you're talking about the loving part of it, those are always the harder questions, because now you're asking them to locate something physical in their body, like did you get headaches because of this, or, like you're starting to get into that kind of stuff. The other part of loving too is not just understanding how your body is being affected by it, but also almost it's like finding a perspective about whatever the issue is that you're okay with, right? And that's hard for that's a hard step, that's a hard turn, but yeah, these are all really good questions.
Yeah, I gotta close the rooms, but I really appreciate our group, and it was so nice to be with you both. Thank you. See you back in the main room. It's our little group again.
You were the first to come back. Yeah.
Well, how'd we do?
Great.
Anybody want to share any insights or learnings or sense of how the mandala worked for them, or anything at all that you'd like to share with the group? Those 3-sentence summaries, right?
Well, I'll just say a technical thing. So I have an old copy of the body now. And when I was trying to ask questions, I was looking for loving, and it's not on this one. So it's acceptance. And I said, oh my gosh, I gotta reprint, I've got to print out the current one. So I just want to share that I had some angst over information.
All right, acceptance works fine. You've been around a long time, sweetheart. I haven't seen one of those for 30 years, so that was the very, very beginning.
Oh, well, I keep everything, so if you need anything, just ask me.
That could have something to do with my piles on my desk, me keeping everything. I'm with you. All right. Other thoughts or things anybody wants to share?
Well, I wanted to say that I feel like I'm kind of it's kind of difficult into getting into the mandala. Suzanne and Holly were helpful with sort of guiding me to it, and in it, and it was, and it's great how you have it laid out, because it kind of, I go back and forth with feeling like, I'm doing the awakening, embracing and loving and acting all the time. Like I feel like I've been I've been tasked, and my circumstances has really sent me into this very full self-reflection time over the last 3 years. So I'm really looking forward to this work to help me enter at different points and to work it more in a format.
Beautiful. Yeah, you're saying something I didn't say, which is it's probably written in the notebook somewhere, but which is you can enter this mandala anywhere. Action can lead to an awakening for sure, and loving can lead to an awakening, and it's like it moves all the time. And again, just to notice all these things that are in between: the breathing, the moving, the loving, the singing, the playing, the listening, the laughing, that keeps it moving, that keeps it breathing. Laurie had us get up and move in our trio, and that was really nice for me after the day that I've had. Laurie, Abby and I were talking about our events of the day, this day, and they just disappeared once I started moving. They just left my body. It was amazing. I just think, oh, I'm done with that. Wow. And I didn't even, me, the big teacher of movement, I didn't even think of moving it, So that's another thing that came up with a client today, to put a little sign in my window that says move, and just a little mnemonic device. So yeah, I love that, though, that you can enter any place, and it backs up on itself sometimes too. An action step leads to loving. Loving something helps me understand and embrace something better. Embracing something opens up a new insight, right? Mm-hmm. So it goes all different directions. It really is just kind of what we do as human beings, but it's fun to watch it go backwards in my life sometimes. I'll say, okay, I'm just going to make that call. And then suddenly what I needed in loving pops in. I couldn't get there before the action step, but the action step backed me into loving. And if nothing else, loving myself for the action step, for making the call, Mm-hmm. It's funny, isn't it, how it... Mm-hmm. So that's really insightful, Sabrina. That's really helpful. I don't think we've ever really looked at it that way together. That's lovely. Other comments?
I was going to say, we were sort of looking at kind of big issues, and I think sometimes it's easier to put something very specific on the mandala and follow it through, as opposed to sort of the broader, bigger life issues. But thank you, Elena, for that recap about kind of going backwards. I think that was definitely true.
Yeah. Well, that's a big insight you're having too in terms of coaching, because we want to keep growing ourselves as we're learning how we're going to grow others, right? How we apply this, right? And so, like, if you're a person like Miko could definitely qualify for this, right? Miko, she had huge story, right? And to put all of that story in one little box around the mandala would not make sense at all. So a lot of times you watch for, as you're being a really empathetic listener, you watch for the catch point as the person's talking, right? It's like, oh, there's one that we could do some movement with. There's a little piece that we could loosen up. And if that started liquefying, that would open up other things. So you're sort of in yourself and in others watching for where is that. In some of the trauma work, they call it knots. There's these knots in our body, and Thomas Hübl calls it frozen places. And he believes with every fiber of his body that it's all about the frozen ancestral inheritance, that it's the stuff we got from the past. And we can unfreeze that and not pass it on to our children. And even if we've passed it on to our children, which we certainly have in some cases, if I unfreeze it, my kids call me up and tell me that they unfroze it. It's amazing. It just goes right into their bodies. So Andrew will call and say, okay, Mom, what did you do? I feel completely different today, or Cassie will call and say, guess what I figured out today, Mom? And I had just done the work of unfreezing that spot. It's incredible. The epigenetics are incredible. It is just a direct line, and all through my kids' lives, every time I've taken the next step in my healing, it's been reflected in their lives instantly. Of course, we were very loving and very close, but so that makes a difference. So our connection was deep. But even at times, like other people have said, when the kids were not so sure about me at this point, going through a divorce that they could not believe was happening again, it didn't matter, because at the end of that process, their whole lives changed, because I unfroze the story of being the servant in that marriage and the victim. And the more I moved out of victim, the more I watched them move out of victim. So this is really the work for the 7 generations forward, in my mind, that's why we're doing it, and it's like the past is not the past. The past lives right in us, right now, in the present moment. And that's the healing of that. That's where the magic happens. So, yeah. Well, that's
amazing. I find that to be very encouraging. Thank you so much, because one of the hardest things is to worry about my children. And, and thinking like, are they going to be able to, be well enough to deal with all the stress of their lives and, with everything that's changed in the world. And so that synergistic effect that you just described, I find that to be just full of faith and hope that I'm not only healing myself, but I'm releasing that energy and creating more light and healing for them as well. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. How old are your children?
22 and 25.
Wow. Yes. Very young. Plenty of time. That's amazing. Yeah. And 22 and 25-year-olds are really young these days, very younger than my older son, who's 57. When he was 22, he was like 40 now, they grew up so much quicker, but that's beautiful. And Sarah has 5 and 7, you said?
Yeah, 6 and 7.
6 and 7, right? Really close together, yeah. And Miko, how old are your kids?
30, 33, 35, and 43.
Wow.
Yeah. And so Miko has 2 kids that are giving her some grief right now about her divorce. Is it okay that I just shared that? I'm
That's
sorry, you
totally
shared it.
That's
I just
totally
realized I should have asked before I did that, so I'll be more careful. Miko just shared that with us in the group, which was so moving and so opening for Lori and I, her vulnerability. And they'll come around with time. They'll feel the release as you step more and more into your power. And as women are taking their power all across the world, it's freeing up us and all of us as women. I mean, Claire Zammit has had 172,000 women on her last call. 172,000 women. And that's nothing when you think of the number of women on the planet, but that's a pretty big group of people to be gathering that are all women saying yes to stepping up to bring the consciousness to the earth that we want. So yes, Sabrina, I do feel very optimistic on the deepest level for where we're going. Did somebody want to speak? Sarah, were you?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for today's session, but I have to drop off to wake up the kids.
All right.
And hopefully I'll try to make it to more sessions. I'll try my best.
All right. And you
Nice
can,
to meet you.
Yeah,
Nice to
we're
meet
gonna,
you.
yes,
thank
nice
you.
to meet you. We're gonna do
Thank you.
some moving stuff all together now. So you can come
Okay,
back and do that on your own
okay, sounds good. I will
once the
do
kids get to school.
that.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Okay.
You.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, how lovely that we got to meet Sarah. That really is such a gift. All right, so let's just everybody take a moment and just shake out, walk around your room or your office or your space. You may not have much space, I realize, but you can do this. And I think it's hard for you to hear me sometimes. I'm going to stay near the computer rather than doing it with you. But what we want to do is deepen our relationship to our bodies, deepen our perceptions of our bodies in ways that many of you already do, but this is just a chance to drop in there before we do a little guided journey. So I just want you to walk, move, breathe. If you don't want to walk, you can wiggle around in your chair, anything that feels right to you. Just take care of yourself, and whatever I suggest, you might or might not do. It's up to you to follow your body. Yes? And just as you're moving and breathing and wiggling and shaking or sounding, any amount of sounding you want, just notice, what do you notice right now in this moment in your body? Do you notice how you're breathing, or notice how your belly feels, or your back or your shoulders, or just noticing and just sort of scanning through your body, noticing sensations? And when you find a sensation, let it lead for a moment, lead and move from that sensation. And as that one kind of releases, scan again and lead from another sensation. Remembering that these body sensations actually guide our life interactions. They actually create those interactions. So I notice my knee. I'm going to let that knee have loving attention, warm light, and I'm going to move from my knees and love my knees. Oh, that's releasing a little. How about my back of my neck? Like that. Move around through your body from sensation to sensation until you're doing a little dance of sensation release, sensation breathing. So I'm going to take my AirPods out for a minute and just give you some music. I don't know how much you'll be able to hear it, but I just want you to move. And when you feel like, oh, that's enough, then move some more. Check in again. Maybe the sensation is that you want to rest. You don't want to move much at all. Maybe you want to move faster or slower. Just keep going a little beyond where you really want to keep going.
You might be moving on the floor, you might be moving on a chair. Any way that your body wants to move right now, just from sensation. Letting your body's sensation lead. And then just find a moment to come to pause in some way, whatever position you'd like to pause in. And let me know if you can't hear me. I guess I could put these back in. And just breathe for a minute there. So Abby, I'm kind of watching you to see if you can hear me okay. So I want you to just there with your hands on your heart, and then you're going to move as you want to move again when you're ready. Just feeling your feet on the floor. Close your eyes and turn on what we think of as your inner lights.
and shine those lights all around your whole body, like a light of love that is just going into every nook and cranny of your body, all those places that light doesn't go, that light was never allowed to go. Opening up to seeing all of you down into the pelvic floor and back into the low back, into the tips of your fingers and the jaw bones and behind your eyes and between your ears, just shining this warm, loving light all through the interior of your body and moving however you want to move as you shine that light. You might be moving a lot, you might be laying down and visualizing. Just follow you, noticing places that might have been in darkness and give them a little more time in the warm, loving light. I'm just paying attention to what are you experiencing in your body right now? Is your tummy growling? Are your knees hurting? Is your heart racing? Are your arms a little shaky? You feel hungry or tired? You have lots of energy. Just speaking to, listening to your body. That light is just going happily, joyfully flowing through your fluids and your bones and your cells and illuminating all of you. So you're just this shining light being, saying yes to all that is present, all the body sensations. And if one sensation is really calling to you, then send lots of loving attention to that sensation. And just trusting the body knowing, the body breathing, the body shining. And just move around any way you like that says, I am a shining light being. I feel the light through my fingertips. I feel the light in my heart. I feel the light in the top of my head, the bottoms of my feet. And if there's some place that feels really shiny, then move from that place. See if there's a joyful movement from that place. Let it shine even brighter, get even bigger, even more of whoever you are. And if there's any place you're turning away from in your body, just invite that place to come and play too. To come and be a part of this dance of light. This fluid, liquefying journey. Is there any place else in your body that wants a little warm, loving attention? In your heart, in your soul. Because once we love the body, we open that love to our soul's journey. All right. So just as you're ready, coming back to the group and seeing the group and even feeling your body to the group's body for a moment, just body to body, letting the frontal lobe just rest, and just even with your eyes closed or open, just feel the hearts beating together. Mm. Just opening your eyes slowly and arriving back together in the room that we're in. As soon as Jesse's music came on, Luna, who's this little kitten in my life, came right up and started purring and asking for attention. She really liked the
Beautiful
music.
cat.
Like,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
she's like, I'm here. What about me? You're just giving that computer attention. She
Oh.
loves Jesse's music. All right, so let's just share to close. How you doing? What are you taking away? I think we could do that as a whole group since we're such a small group this time. Does that feel okay to everybody? Just each person take a couple minutes and check out a little. What are you carrying with you? And if not that, just how are you feeling right now? Or how's your body? Anything you'd like to share? Take a moment to just drop in and check that out.
What my takeaway is this is such a beautiful way to coach. It's such a beautiful way to connect. I actually am going to just start implementing it with the patients that I work with right away, because I just feel like this is just very deeply profound, and I'm so thankful to be a part of this. So thank you.
Thank you. And how is your body right now, Nico?
Feels really loved and nourished and gentle. My heart stopped racing. So beautiful drop in.
Great. So you can, any of you, shine this light all through your body with some beautiful music that you love every day or anytime the story starts up again, the old tapes start playing. Just put that music on and shine that light I mean, the biggest issue for most of us was one little teeny piece of us got lit up, and everything else was supposed to go away. And we not only, the more we light up all of who we are, the more we light up our children and everybody around us, right? Anyway, we're supposed to be checking out. Sorry. Who's next? I guess that was me checking out.
Miko, I am feeling. I loved your phrase of feeling loved, Miko. That just feels so gentle in my body. My body feels very sweetly caressed. And yeah, I'm gonna take away just just an appreciation of this group and this time to be vulnerable with one another, to just be real with where we are and explore, just deeply what matters in our lives and how we're moving forward. And so just I'm deeply appreciative of being here and sharing with you all.
I'll go. My body is feeling very, very light and like airy. And also very loved. And what I'm taking away is I already feel this group energy we've created, this new community we've created together. And I feel that so much in my body right now, so I want to take that away with me tonight.
Yeah, I ditto that. Yeah, I feel like I just got a new little mini family. So thank you all for, bringing your heart and spirit and souls to this platform again. It was really, really nice to see 4 of you. Abby, I've met you before. Perry, I've met you before. And Holly and Suzanne, all at the Would Be retreat about 4 years ago. Of course, you, Alana. And so it's just very sweet to feel like I'm joining, this extended family again, and feel very welcomed and held. So thank you so much. I'm very grateful to be here.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Oh, Holly, you're muted, honey.
I've been doing that all night long. I would echo that, Sabrina. Just the smallness of this group has an intimacy to it that is lovely. It's just, and I just really like it. And I'll miss having Sarah with us each time a lot. And I think what I'm taking away is I've decided to turn towards a big story in my life. And I noticed in the movement that started to lighten. And so I started to feel some hope that that story can open and release.
Beautiful.
I actually felt capable of loving it, which I haven't always felt. A little bit.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really speak about my body. I'm feeling kind of sore. I haven't been sleeping well, and so I'm feeling pretty tired and sore. But after the movement, it was just wonderful to just open up the energies and the blood flow, and I feel lighter and more open. So thank you for that.
I can go. I feel fuzzy. And then when you all seem fuzzy too. So it's like we're melding, we're being fuzzy together. The edges aren't, the edges, let me say that positively, the edges are mingling. What I'm gonna take away from tonight is how I'm reminded of how important the work is, and another layer gets revealed, and it's fabulous. So thank you.
I am
Yay,
Just-
Perry, for being our guy.
I'm just good. I yeah, I thought that I was going to be really tired tonight, and I'm really not. So that feels good. And yeah, just everything seems really good. I definitely like had some insight while I was doing my personal session around the mandala. So that was really awesome. I feel lighter and cleaner because of that. So
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, Perry is also a certified coach, so somebody who you got a tough one, then call one of these people on this call, and you can get some magic and give them your magic, which I think you're owning already tonight.
Yeah, I want to commit to being an unstoppable force of love on the earth. So that's another thing I'm taking.
Oh yeah, right on.
Yeah, and I love the fuzzy, because there is no separation. That's all illusion anyway. And so what we get to experience with this level of open-heartedness that this group brought instantly, the minute the computer opened tonight, it was there, is we get to really experience the individual and the collective in a beautiful flow. And that's very healing, not just for us, I promise you. So you have a homework assignment. How about that? In your notebook, there's this thing called 8 appreciations a day. It's, what page is it now, Abby? This is the old notebook.
It is page 6.
And printing out the notebook is probably, I print it, punch it, and put it in a notebook so I can work in it and write in it. But if you're not a person who wants to use paper, I totally honor that. But I would like you to do 8 appreciations a day. And if you don't do them, then to notice that and love that and see, I wonder what that's about. And maybe your coaching session with each other could be about your 8 appreciations a day, or it could be about the appreciation sheet that's in your notebook, or the conscious listening sheet that's in your notebook. So last time somebody said, oh, I noticed that every time I talk to my kid, I am listening to fix, listening to fix, listening to fix. And I made the shift to the first page of conscious listening and started using, on that first page, there's sentences that are the only ones you can use in this exercise. So I can say, tell me more about that. I can say, what are you experiencing in your body? I can say, is there anything specific this is related to, etc. They're there on that page, which I think is still page, I don't know what page it is, page 6, conscious listening, 8.
Yes, 8 and 9.
8 and 9. So that's, homework if you want it. The more you deepen into some of this stuff, the more you'll feel like you're getting out of your investment. There's also beautiful pages about witnessing and paying attention in a loving and kind and generous way to how do I witness and what triggers me and what do I bring to the table as a witness. So I have certain triggers with these 80 middle schoolers we were working with, and I'll get triggered by one, Suzanne by another, and Abby by another. We all get triggered by something different. So then that's an opportunity to see what needs loving here. And that's really all it's about. Any kind of reaction we're having of any kind. It's like, what needs loving here? So my daughter's having a hard time right now with her 17-year-old, my granddaughter. And immediately I start to look at where I failed the system, where I wasn't a good enough mother, where I brought my mother's stuff through, where, blah, blah, where I failed my daughter. And that is so not helpful. And that is so the wrong energy I want to vibrate into, that complexity that they're navigating as this child matures into her own power. So I get to let that go, move and breathe, come back to, all right, what needs loving here so there can be unconditional witnessing there, right? That's the magic. All right, my deep friends, this is so nice. I will miss you, actually. It's so funny how it's going to be a while before we're together. So is it 2 weeks, right, Abby?
Yes, it is. Here, let me grab the date real quick. The 24th, January 24th.
All right. And so I want to recommend, if anybody wants to, that if you we'll send you the email addresses. If you email Sarah, it's like if it's 8 o'clock her time, it's like 7 o'clock our time or something, Laurie, in Mountain Time. So, it's perfectly possible to do sessions with her and keep in touch with her and feel her beautiful being, just by doing some of your coaching sessions with her occasionally. And she'll come back on again to see us all. I'm sure she's already missing us as well. So, all right. Take good care, everybody.
You too.
Love you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.